This podcast is supported by MIDI Health. Are you in midlife and feeling dismissed, unheard, or just plain tired of the old healthcare system? You're not alone. For too long, women's serious midlife health issues have been trivialized, ignored, and met with a just deal with it attitude. Many of us have been made to feel ashamed or forgotten. In fact, even today, 75% of women seeking care for menopause and perimenopause issues are left entirely untreated. It's time for a change. It's time for MIDI. MIDI is not just a healthcare provider. It's a women's telehealth clinic founded and supported by world-class leaders in women's health. What sets MIDI apart? We are the only women's telehealth brand covered by major insurance companies, making high-quality, expert care accessible and affordable for all women. Our clinicians provide one-on-one, face-to-face consultations where they truly listen to your unique needs. We offer a full range of holistic, data-driven solutions from hormonal therapies and weight loss protocols to lifestyle coaching and preventative health guidance. This isn't one-size-fits-all care. This is care uniquely tailored for you. At MIDI, you will join our patients who feel seen, heard, and prioritized. You will find that our mission is clear: to help all women thrive in midlife, giving them access to the healthcare they deserve. Because we believe midlife isn't the middle at all. It's the beginning of your second act. Ready to feel your best and write your second act script? Visit joinmidi.com today to book your personalized, insurance-covered virtual visit. That's joinmidi.com. MIDI, the care women deserve.
Amazon Pharmacy presents Painful Thoughts.
20 more minutes to kill in the pharmacy before my prescription is ready. Maybe I'll grab some deeply discounted out-of-season Halloween candy. I never had a chocolate pumpkin with raisins before. Those were raisins, right?
Next time, use Amazon Pharmacy. We deliver. And no, those were not raisins. Amazon Pharmacy. Healthcare just got less painful.
I'm Trish Laverty, and on today's episode we're looking back at those we lost in 2025. From actors to musicians, from icons to legends, we'll pause to celebrate the lives of all those who left us during 2025.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
As 2025 wraps up, we're taking a look back at some of the big names we've lost across the year. And in this episode, we'll be remembering the stars who passed away between January and July. January 2025 saw the death of singer and TV star Linda Nolan at just 65 years of age, following a long battle with cancer. She first rose to fame in the 70s alongside her sisters as the Nolans. They were championed by Cliff Richard on his TV show and then found themselves touring Europe with Frank Sinatra. They also had a number of top 10 hits, including the iconic I'm in the Mood for Dancing. Linda went on to star in musicals and became a regular on TV show Loose Women, where she documented her battle with cancer, which first got diagnosed in 2005 and then reoccurred in 2017. Tributes flooded in from her fellow Loose Women, her family and the many charities that she raised over £20 million for. Rest in peace, Linda.
What scares me the most, I think, is dying. I mean, I'm not scared of dying. I'm sad that it's going to happen. Let it happen. It's going to happen anyway. So don't go down into the doldrums and think, what am I going to do? Just make time for the people you love.
The world lost an icon at the end of January as the death was announced of Marianne Faithfull at 78 years of age. She was a singer and an actress who shot to fame in the 1960s and reinvented herself several times throughout her life. She was discovered in 1964 at the age of 18 at a party by Rolling Stones manager Andrew Oldham, and within a year she had a top 10 UK hit with the song As Tears Go By. The song was written by Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, and she and Jagger had a 4-year relationship which ended badly and saw Marianne homeless and addicted to heroin. She recovered and made 2 comebacks, including as a jazz singer, winning a Lifetime Achievement Award in 2009 and being presented with one of France's highest honours. She lived happily in Paris in later years and was quite content, as she revealed in a TV interview back in 2016. Rest in peace, Marianne.
I get more joy from my flowers than anything. I like to be on my own, yes. I'm pretty lonely, actually, but it's okay. I carry my home here. Where I live is not my home. I am my home.
The last week in February 2025 saw a remarkable number of celebrity deaths, including a mysterious incident involving acting great Gene Hackman. The week started with the death of classically trained pianist and multiple Grammy winner Roberta Flack, who died at age 88. She'd been diagnosed with motor neuron disease in 2022 and had been unable to perform in recent years. She was probably most famous for her hit Killing Me Softly, which was later covered by the Fugees, but her first big hit was The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, which was #1 in the US for 6 weeks, exactly 52 years ago. Flack was also the first woman to win consecutive Grammys, with double wins in 1973 and 1974, followed by a Lifetime Achievement Award in 2020. She was also a passionate educator with her own music school in New York. Rest in peace, Roberta.
I'm honest and sincere and reliable and confident and ambitious and generous and an animal lover and a children lover and a people lover and a world lover, and I can sing.
Michelle Trachtenberg, the breakout child star of Harriet the Spy, died at the age of 39 on February 26th. She had gone on to work in iconic TV series Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Gossip Girl. She died of complications due to diabetes. One of the original presenters on Classic FM also died in the same week, Henry Kelly, whose morning show was on air for 11 years from 1992. He was a familiar voice to millions with his distinctive Irish accent, winning him fans and a Sony Radio Awards as National Radio Broadcaster of the Year. He was born in Dublin and moved to the UK in 1976 and presented the news show The World Tonight before he moved into light entertainment and presented shows including Game for a Laugh. There were tributes from a wide range of people, including Irish Taoiseach Micheál Martin, who praised him for making a huge contribution to journalism and broadcasting in Ireland and the UK. Here he is talking about the iconic game show Going for Gold and how he got the job as host. Rest in peace, Henry.
So I went in and I was given the Going for Gold cards, and I was asked to do one of the slots in the programme. And to be quite honest, and this is not a lie, I thought no more about it. And a few weeks later, I got a phone call to say, the BBC now think that they'd like you to do the programme. I said, what programme? I'd completely forgotten about it.
And then there was what appeared to be a tragic incident a day later as police discovered the bodies of actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa. They, along with their German Shepherd dog, were found in their home in Santa Fe, and it appeared the couple had been dead for some time. An investigation later revealed that both died of natural causes, but Betsy died about a week before Hackman, apparently succumbing to the deadly hantavirus, which is spread by mice. Gene Hackman was one of the great actors of his generation, winning 2 Academy Awards, 4 Golden Globes and 2 BAFTAs over the course of his long career. He had a number of iconic roles, including as Lex Luthor in the first Superman movie, as Poppy Doyle in The French Connection, and as the sheriff in Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven. He spoke to Terry Wogan back in 1986 about his approach to art and acting.
Do you do it for the art or for the money?
Absolutely art. The money comes secondary. It's funny that after Superman, the first Superman, I didn't really like my work in it after the film was over. And I decided to stop. And then when I wanted to come back to work, it took a long time to get a job. It's kind of fun, and I really enjoy it.
March began with some sad news as the death was announced of Angie Stone, singer behind the hit Wish I Didn't Miss You. A 3-time Grammy nominee, Stone formed the hip-hop trio The Sequence as a teen in the late 1970s, signed with Sugar Hill Records and released the single Funk You Up, later sampled by both Dr. Dre and Bruno Mars. The world of sport lost a real character in March of this year with the death of Formula 1 legend Eddie Jordan. He was a champion kart racer, a Formula 1 team owner, a beloved TV TV pundit and occasionally a rock and roll drummer, and he passed away aged 76 after a prolonged battle with prostate cancer. Jordan grew up in Dublin and discovered motor racing in the summer of 1970. He went on to set up the Jordan Formula One team in 1991, which saw Eddie give Michael Schumacher his Formula One debut, and he famously scored a 1-2 at the Belgian Grand Prix in 1998 when Damon Hill and Ralph Schumacher dominated the podium. Jordan sold the team and switched his attention to TV punditry, although he's also credited with the deal that saw designer Andrew Newey switch from Red Bull to Aston Martin. The world of motor racing joined in paying tributes to the Irishman on Thursday, including his Grand Prix winning driver Damon Hill. Rest in peace, Eddie.
He was irreverent, he was crazy, he influenced everyone, and there isn't a single person in that era and since really has not been affected positively in some way by Eddie. He never stopped, he never wasted a single second of his life.
Later on in March, the death was announced of another sporting legend. This time it was boxer George Foreman at age 76. His family described him as a humanitarian, an Olympian and two-time heavyweight champion of the world in an Instagram post on Saturday. He famously lost his first title to Muhammad Ali during the Rumble in the Jumble in 1974, but regained the crown at 45 years of age and became the oldest heavyweight champion ever. He was also a preacher and famously a spokesman for the George Foreman Grill, which became well known worldwide. He spoke of how he wanted to be remembered in a 1989 documentary called Champions Forever. Rest in peace, George.
I want them to have the record straight that I was a good boxer and that I did fight some of the top contenders and that I did fight for the championship of the world and won it fair and square. If I can be remembered and have my name called in the same fashion as, like I said, Jack Dempsey, Muhammad Ali, and Joe Frazier, I'll be a happy man. I don't want to be remembered as the greatest of all. I just want to be remembered as a good boxer.
March finished with the death of a man who was both a 60s heartthrob and the 80s king of the miniseries, Richard Chamberlain. The actor who rose to fame playing Dr. Kildare on TV went on to star in musicals and movies, along with classic miniseries The Thornbirds and Shogun. He won multiple Golden Globes and continued to appear in TV shows, even in later life, including Will and Grace, Nip Tuck, and even Desperate Housewives. He came out as gay in his 2003 autobiography, Shattered Love, and his lifelong partner Martin Rabbit paid tribute to him, saying he was blessed to have known such an amazing and loving soul. He passed away aged 90 in his home state of Hawaii, and he spoke back in 2022 about how grateful he was for the life he'd lived. Rest in peace, Richard.
Gosh, many aspects of Kildare were wonderful in that it was just such a new, amazing experience. Not everybody I'm going to cry now, in life gets their absolute wishes answered. It doesn't happen to that many people. I'm so grateful for it.
Just 4 days later, the death was announced of American actor Val Kilmer. The star of Top Gun was 65 and, according to his daughter Mercedes, died of pneumonia, although he had famously battled throat cancer in 2014. He was a huge star in the 1990s, playing Batman opposite Jim Carrey in Batman Forever and Jim Morrison in Oliver Stone's The Doors. He also managed to steal quite a few scenes in the epic Heat, despite playing alongside Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. He battled throat cancer and recovered, although procedures damaged his vocal cords and left him struggling to speak at times, and he made an appearance in Top Gun Maverick in 2022, which turned out to be his final film appearance. He spoke back in 2002 about his reluctance to face the spotlight and his focus on his work. Rest in peace, Val.
For a long time with interviews, I was afraid. I was just nervous or afraid that somehow my own life would get given away, because you give so much in acting, or at least I don't really like the kind of storytelling that doesn't cost something.
Still to come on the Standout 7, in association with Metro, we mark the death of a pontiff and the passing of stars of stage and screen.
Right after this. Maybe you like cooking. Maybe you don't. Either way, the new Blue Apron is for you. Because along with our classic meal kits, we're offering new pre-made and one-pan meals to help you get dinner on the table fast. And now there's no subscription needed, so you can just order and enjoy. Do delicious food your way. Shop 100+ meals at blueapron.com. Get 50% off your first 2 orders with code APRON50. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
One of the biggest challenges of earning a degree as a military veteran is transitioning your goals and experiences to your next phase in life. National University gets it. As a veteran-founded Yellow Ribbon School, they offer post-9/11 GI Bill acceptance, dedicated military support and advising services, and credit for your military experience. That's why 30% of their students are military affiliated. NU, education that serves those who served.
Welcome back.
Easter Monday morning saw an announcement from the Vatican.
Carissimi fratelli e sorelle.
Dear brothers and sisters, with deep sorrow I must announce the death of our Holy Father Francis. At 7:35 this morning, the Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the house of the Father. His entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and his Church.
They confirmed that Pope Francis had died from a stroke and irreversible heart failure after falling into a coma on Sunday. The 88-year-old, who had served as Pope since 2013, was the first Jesuit Pope and made it his mission to speak for the world's poor. There were tributes from world leaders, including King Charles, who met the pontiff just recently, along with Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and US President Trump. Just the previous day, after being ill for some time, the Pope had a packed Easter Sunday schedule, meeting with US VP J.D. Vance and using his last Easter address to speak on behalf of civilians in Gaza. His message was read by Cardinal Angelo Comastri.
I think of the people of Gaza and its Christian community in particular. I appeal to the warring parties. Call a ceasefire, release the hostages, and come to the aid of a starving people that aspires to a future of peace.
Details for the funeral of Pope Francis were soon revealed, and as in life, he broke with tradition and avoided the traditional ceremonial trappings of the office. In accordance with his wishes, he was buried outside of the Vatican in a basilica in Rome's Esquilino neighbourhood and without any particular decoration. He'd also selected a simple wooden coffin rather than the traditional elaborate triple coffin, and his body was not displayed on a platform in the church. Reuters Vatican correspondent Joshua McElwee explained what was to happen next.
Sometime Wednesday morning, we expect that mourners will be able to come into the Basilica to visit with Pope Francis, to say their goodbyes. We expect that world leaders coming for the papal funeral, including U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, will be seated in the front row or towards the front of the funeral in St. Peter's Square on Saturday morning.
Later that week, thousands of people queued in St. Peter's Square in Rome on Wednesday for their chance to file past the pontiff's coffin. He lay in traditional vestments as over 100 cardinals met in Rome to agree a 9-day mourning period for Pope Francis, which meant the conclave to decide his successor wouldn't begin until at least the 5th of May. US Vice President J.D. Vance, among the last to see the pontiff alive, was brutally mocked online ever since. But speaking to the press on his return from India, he said he didn't realise how ill the Pope was.
Obviously, when I saw him, I didn't know that he had less than 24 hours still on this earth. I think it was a great blessing. He affected a lot of lives, and I try to just, remember that I was lucky that I got to shake his hand and tell him that I pray for him every day.
The end of May saw the BBC announce the death of a presenter and former senior executive, Alan Yentob. In a career spent at the BBC, he was controller of both BBC One and BBC Two, director of television and the head of music and arts, amongst other titles. He was responsible for commissioning groundbreaking shows like Have I Got News for You, Absolutely Fabulous, and the now legendary Colin Firth version of Pride and Prejudice. His wife, Philippa, paid tribute to him, describing him as curious, funny, annoying, late and creative in every cell in his body. He was unusual for a BBC senior executive in that he also presented shows for the corporation, including the arts documentary series Imagine. Author Salman Rushdie had fond memories of him, including filming a scene for satirical comedy show W1A, which saw him and Yentob arm wrestle. Rest in peace, Alan. Music lovers were saddened in June when the death was announced of one of the greats of 20th century music, Brian Wilson, at 82 years of age. He was the co-creator, singer, songwriter and arranger of the Beach Boys and was the last surviving member of the Wilson brothers, who were at the heart of the group. The Beach Boys rivalled the Beatles in the 1960s as creative pop powerhouses with hit after hit, and in Pet Sounds, what is widely regarded as one of the best albums ever made. Tributes poured in from the music business, including Bob Dylan, Ronnie Wood, Mick Fleetwood and Questlove, who said Wilson could make art out of inexpressible sadness. Brian spoke to Beatles producer George Martin back in 1997 about his creative process and his belief that great music came from a higher power. Rest in peace, Brian.
They come from down deep in my soul. You know, way deep in my soul, there's this music that's there that wants to blow right out of my chest. You know, and like, it just totally blew out. Music came out of my chest.
The world of reality TV lost a true icon on June 17th with the death of Kim Woodburn. She was the star of many memes and her outspoken manner endeared her to millions. She first rose to fame at age 60 when Channel 4 commissioned How Clean Is Your House, which featured Kim and Aggie dishing out tough love and practical cleaning advice. The show ran for 6 years and catapulted Kim into reality TV superstardom with appearances on I'm a Celebrity and Celebrity Big Brother. She spoke of her difficult childhood in her 2006 biography Unbeaten, and she was famously outspoken on This Morning and in her long-running feud with Colleen Nolan on Loose Women. The two clashed in the Big Brother house, leading to a legendary standoff on the ITV daytime show. Rest in peace, the Queen of Clean.
And she can say what she likes. She wants to draw a line under it. Well, she could, because she did it, didn't she? So I don't want to draw a line under it. You don't want to? Because I will never forget what the likes of her and the 7 others put me through. Okay, well... I'll never forget it, never.
There was tragic news for Liverpool fans in the summer of 2025 as Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva died in a car crash in northern Spain. Jota joined Liverpool in 2020 from Wolves, and the forward scored 65 goals in 182 appearances for the club. He also won the Premier League, FA Cup and League Cup with Liverpool, and twice won the Nations League with his native Portugal. Tragically, he had married his childhood sweetheart just 2 weeks before he died and had 3 young children. There were tributes from across football, including his former manager Jurgen Klopp, who described him as a fantastic player and a great friend. Prime Minister Keir Starmer described the death as heartbreaking, and Deputy PM Angela Rayner joined fans at Anfield to lay a floral tribute. Rest in peace, Diogo.
I think the whole world actually is really devastated and shocked by such a tragic end to, you know, someone who is well loved here in Liverpool, and I think the whole city is there to support his wife and children and his family.
The same day, Thursday the 3rd of July, also saw the death of Hollywood star Michael Madsen. He was probably most famous for his roles in Quentin Tarantino movies, including Reservoir Dogs, the Kill Bill series and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He passed away at age 67 after what appeared to be a cardiac arrest at home. His sister Virginia Madsen said, "We're mourning someone who stormed through life loud, brilliant and half on fire." Madsen moved to Hollywood in the early 1980s and spoke back in 2020 as his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame was unveiled about how he took a cab to the legendary Man's Chinese Theatre and dreamed of becoming a big name in Hollywood. Rest in peace, Michael.
Many years ago, I came to California to Man's Chinese Theatre because I wanted to see the footprints and I wanted to see it. And it was raining and I got out and I walked around and I looked and I wondered if there was someday, some way that was going to be a part of me, and I didn't know what I was going to do at that point with myself. I could have been nothing, but I got lucky. I got lucky as an actor.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes, we'll give you...
One of the biggest challenges of earning a degree as a military veteran is transitioning your goals and experiences to your next phase in life. National University gets it. As a veteran-founded Yellow Ribbon School, they offer post-9/11 GI Bill acceptance, dedicated military support and advising services, and credit for your military experience. That's why 30% of their students are military affiliated. NU, education that serves those who served.